afternoon, good evening to everybody. My name is Sarah Algaradi. I'm the Associate Director of Global Partnership. And I'll give some information about Trine. And as Nick said, please prepare your questions for any of the points I will cover, or outside of them, please feel free to prepare them in the chat box or in the question and answer box. I'll answer them at the end. So Trine is a private, non-profit university. It was established in 1884. So we have a great history of excellence in education. We are located in Indiana State, which is in between Ohio, Michigan, and Illinois. We are in a small town called Angola. And it's not Angola in Africa, it's in Indiana State. And we're not far away from big cities. And you can see the location, it's on the borders between Michigan and Ohio. And even though it's a small town, it gives that students that welcoming environment. It gives them, especially for undergraduate students, it lets them to focus on their studies during the week, and then on the weekends they can go have fun in big cities like Chicago. It's a 3 hours driving distance. Toledo is an hour and a half. Kalamazoo and Indianapolis, Columbus, all of them are in between 2 to 3 hours driving distance. So the location of the university is from my point of view, is very perfect, especially for undergraduate students. As I said, we have a great history in education, and our enrollments for generally, it's comparing to big universities, we have a small enrollment, and that gives us, I think it's a biggest selling point for us, is a small class size. Student to faculty ratio is 15:1. So for every 15 students, we have one faculty. That gives the students that personal attention from their professors. So they're not in a big hall with hundreds of students and they're just a number there. In our classes, they are known, they're focused on, they have that personal attention from their professors to help personally or educationally too. So Indiana is known to be 101 lakes. So we have a 400 acres campus. So it's huge. It's beautiful. It's just amazing during all different seasons, summer, fall, and winter. And we have all different facilities, from athletes to dorms, which is student housing, resources, and academic buildings, from just literature halls or labs. So from 1990 to 2019, we had 2,475 international students from 104 countries. Our highest population are from India for our graduate students, and now we are having a lot of Chinese students as well for our graduate programs. For our undergraduate programs, I would say Saudi Arabia and China also comes in the highest population for our undergraduate programs. And then we have students here and there from all the countries here listed in the chart. Also, we have from other countries like Bangladesh, Venezuela, all different countries, Egypt. We have students that comes from all over Sweden. Countries are just popping up in my head now from the students that we have recruited for. So going to colleges and school, we have different colleges. We have Allen School of Engineering, Kennard School of Business, School of Computing, which is computer programs. Also, we have the College of Graduate and Professional Studies, which is a master's or graduate programs. We have Frank School of Education, General School of Arts and Science, and Rankin Rose for Health and Science. And I will go through some of these programs in the slide, and I can show you how to navigate our websites for all of the programs for each school. So we offer associate degrees, bachelor degrees, and graduate degrees. Associate degrees, for whoever don't know what's the associate degree, it's a 2 years programs. Bachelor degree usually it's 4 years program, and the graduate, which is a higher education of master's or doctorate. We have over 40 undergraduate majors, 38 minors, and 5 master's programs, and 1 doctorate degree. So here is the engineering and computing programs. My sister graduated from biomedical engineering a year and a half, something like that. And my youngest sister now, she's doing mechanical engineering at Trine. So these are the engineering programs that we have. Business, my oldest sister did accounting, finished her accounting degree at Trine as well. Here are the art and science programs, education, and health and science. For health and science programs, we have special tracks. I don't know if it's gonna be covered here in the slides or not. I can't remember now, but I will also go over it in the website. We are not a medical school. However, we have a pre medical track, which is we prepare the students to go for medical schools. So for the medical programs, we have a bachelor degree, whether the students goes for biochemistry, biology, chemistry, or exercise science, and we prepare them to have all the prerequisites that are needed for the medical school. And then after they finish that bachelor degree, they would have to take the MCAT test, which is the medical test, and then passing it or failing it, depends, they will apply for a medical school for admissions and acceptance for it. So here's the graduate programs that we have. We have Masters of Business Administration, Masters in Engineering Management, Masters of Information Management, and Business Analytic. All these 4 programs are offered for international students to take, in the U.S. on campus. We have also Masters of Leadership. I did my Masters in Leadership at Trine as well. And it is a fully online program. And we have a master's in criminal justice and a doctorate of physical therapy. International students can also do a doctorate of physical therapy at Trine. However, they have to have a bachelor degree from the US to qualify to apply for a doctorate of physical therapy. So for admissions, I will also go through it on our website in a minute. Our application is online for free. We have rolling admissions, which means if a student, for example, applied for fall semester, which is starting in August, if, for example, they didn't get their stuff ready by then, or for example, they got visa denial, we can redefer their admissions to the next semester, which is spring. That will start in January. We also, if they didn't make it or spring students didn't make it, we can defer them for summer, which starts in end of May, beginning of June. So for documents, or whether for undergraduates or graduates, undergraduates, we would need their high schools. For graduate students, we would need their college transcripts. Some English test scores, it can be waived if students have a background of spoken English country or went to an English curriculum school for long, then the English requirements might be waived. It's a case by case, I would say, for different students. So we would need to look into the student's background, from education to, the countries, if it's native English or spoken country. So for our undergraduate students, investments and costs, which is tuition, our non-engineering or science programs are around $35,000. For engineering are around $37,000. That's a year. And then there are some additions from housing and meal and plan, health insurance, things like that can add up to it. For our undergraduate students, before I go for undergraduate scholarships, for our graduate tuition, it's $575 per credit, and our programs are 30 credits. So you're talking about around $17,000. That's a whole master program tuition fees. And that's very competitive comparing to other U.S. programs, master programs in the U.S. And then you have the enrollment fee, which is after the students apply and get admitted. If they decided to come to Trine, they will have to pay that $500 admission fee. It is both for undergraduates and graduates. You can see it over here too for undergraduates. and it is not refundable unless the students get a visa denial. So this $500 is paid after admissions. If the students decide to come to Trine, once we receive that $500, then we issue the student I-20, which is the immigration record, where the students need it to go for visa interview to get their F1 visa, student visa. Once this is the 500 received, then issuing of the I-20 immigration record is will be processed and mailed to the student or the agent. And then after that, if the student got visa denial, we would need a proof of the denial to refund that $500. Otherwise, that $500 is not refundable. I just want to make this clear because I always get questions about it. So scholarships, it's only for undergraduate students. So undergraduates, when they apply for admissions, once we receive their documents and everything, if they are accepted, they automatically would qualify for a scholarship. The lowest scholarship is $10,000. The highest scholarship is $16,000, which is almost half of the tuition fees. And you can see the higher the GPA, the higher the scholarship. As I said, all students, undergraduate students with admissions, they would receive scholarships, and it's automatic review for both admissions and a scholarship. SAT and ACT are not required. They're recommended, but not required. Also, we have other degree pathways. We have some programs or majors can be finished within 3 years. 3 years. If students, for example, if students are interested in that, they might take kind of extra courses during the semester. Also, they have to take summer courses, and that way they finish their program in 3 years. Some of the programs, students can do both bachelor degree and master's degree at the same time. So they, during their senior year, if they're interested in that, they will start taking master classes during their senior year. In that way, when they graduate with their bachelor degree, they're also graduating with their master's degree. Best example I can think of now is our bachelor degree in business administration, whether accounting, finance, or other programs, but in business, they can do MBA with it. The same with some of the engineering programs. They can do masters in engineering, masters of science in engineering management. So they might need to add a semester after their bachelor degree just to finish up their masters if they weren't able to finish it during their senior year. Otherwise, they might be able. We also have doctorate in law with Ohio Northern University. Students do 3 years of pre-law at Trine, and then they go for enroll with Ohio Northern University to finish their doctorate in law. The same, we have a doctorate in physical therapy. That program, these students do a 3 years of bachelor in exercise science or biology, and then after that they will go for another 3 years to and have a degree in a doctorate in physical therapy as well. For partnership models, whether for agents or other organizations or educational organizations or companies that do kind of a different models, we are open to all different models. If you have an idea, or if you know universities or high schools that you're working with and you're looking into do this pathway or partnership with us, please feel free to reach out to us. We're open to not only these, any different ideas. We have dual enrollment or pathway programs where high school students starts taking college credits during their high schools through Trine. So if you are recruiting from certain high schools that they would offer these kind of credits through Trine, please feel free to reach out to us. We have joint programs between home institutes that in the student's home country with Trine while studying in their home school or their university. We have 1+3, 4+0, different articulation programs. Also, we have summer online programs, or we have also fully online programs, and I will show you in our website as well. So if you're looking into having students start studying from their home country or in the US, both ways it is beneficially for the students. From home country, it is convenient and more cost efficient. It's the same quality. It's offered online. They can work on from their home country, and also they would have the faculty interactions from their home country. If they're coming to the U.S., the best thing I would say that getting that American university experience, getting doing internships and CBTs and OPTs. I will talk in a minute about it during our job placement. Of what we do to help the students on getting jobs and all of that. So both ways, whether students decide to study from their home country or take the online degree or have there, depending on what the program or pathway or partnership that we're making with their home school or study in the US, both are beneficial and good for the student. So for college life, we have so many different things that we do for our international students, or for our students in general. We have a lot of campus experience. We host a lot of events on campus and off campus. We invite a lot of distinguished speakers. We are NA, AA, and Division III. In athletes, we host homecoming, international night, graduate commencement, and a lot of events. We have more than 50 organizations and clubs that our international students can join to attend events or host events if they're interested in that. Also, for our undergraduate students, we offer housing. So all undergraduate students under the age of 21, they have to live on campus. For graduate students, we don't offer housing for graduate students. Actually, for graduate students, we have different campuses or learning centers for them. We have one in Detroit, Michigan, one in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're opening a new one in DC, Virginia. So our graduate students are living all over the U.S., wherever they want or wherever they can find a job, and they can settle there. Our seated classes are to maintain that F1 student visa requirements. It is once or twice a semester on a weekend. So that's very flexible for our graduate students, where they can work or settle wherever they want. And the nearest learning center or campus for us, they can fly into it. We have students flying into our Phoenix, Arizona campus, or to our Detroit, Michigan campus now, or drive to. During the week they work or they work on their CBT or their CBT, or they live wherever, and then they fly in or come to the center on a weekend. I always tell them, take it as a trip. So fun trip. They attend their theater class during the day, and then at night they can go explore our the city that our center is at. And I think I talked about scholarships. Let me see. I'm going back. Okay. Here we go. So just for this picture, since I'm seeing it, we are for sports. We have over 600 athletes in 24 varsity sports. So if you're recruiting sports students, please feel free to reach out to us, and I will show you the page and to see what sports that we're offering, and to reach out to the coaches directly if you're interested in that. But from this picture, we have an esport team, which is video gaming. So if you have students who are very competitive in video gaming, please have them reach out to us or to the coach. It is a fun and very competitive, I would say. So these are some pictures of our events and sports commencement. So job placement, Trine for the longest I can remember have always maintained 99% employment rate. So all students by graduation, it's whether they are going for a higher degree or they work. For international students, we help them, as I said, in CPT and OPT. For you guys, if you don't know what CPT and OPT, CPT is curricular practical training, which is they can work during their studies. The work that it needs to be related towards their major. So if they're doing an MBA or engineering management, information studies, their job that they find, it needs to be related to that major to be able to work during their studies. OPT, which is optional practical training, which is after graduation. So before graduation, they would have to apply for the optional practical training, which students for STEM and non-STEM, all students in general, they're approved for it, they can work in the US after graduation for 1 year, whether they are in a STEM program or non-STEM program. STEM means majors in science, technology, engineering, management. If they are in a STEM program, after that 1 year of optional practical training, which is OPT, after that 1 year, they can apply for extension for another 2 years. So you're talking about working in the US for 3 years after graduation. That job needs to be related to the student's major or program that he studied, whether at Trine or any other university. So that's the only difference between STEM and non-STEM program for OPT. If non-STEM, it would be just OPT, which is 1 year after graduation. Majors or programs that are in STEM programs, that 1 year can be extended to another 2 years. So, and we help the students to find jobs. Every year we host big career centers. Career fairs in our career center, big fairs that big companies around the region attend, visit the campus and recruit for our students. These are some or just few or couple of the some of the employers that hired our international students. So that's why we have always maintained the 99% employment rate. Oh, I don't know why I keep going back. Here we go. Okay. So stay connected, reach out to us and through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And please feel free to reach out to me or Jensen. He is the Director of Global Partnership. We are in WhatsApp and WeChat. I speak Arabic. If someone are Arabic speakers, or he speaks Chinese, if anybody Chinese speaker, please feel free to reach out to us or have students reach out to us. We would be more than happy to get in touch with you and help you and your students to answer whatever questions. So that's as a presentation. That's the end of my presentation. However, I'll take you to our page just to show you, since I have all the time Nick said. So when you go to trine.edu, www.trine.edu. So this is our main page. For our programs, you go into academics and then majors and degrees. And then you can see here the associate degrees, bachelor degrees, graduate degrees. I would say for international students looking into come to the US and study for graduate degrees, please don't have them go through this link, because this link is for all students. And usually when international students go through here, they see all the other master's or graduate programs that are not for international students, but for all, even domestic students. Also, they can get the link for the domestic students application, while we have a different application for our international students. I'll show you in a minute, but I'll go through over the bachelor degrees that we have. So this is the arts and science programs that we offer, and you can see some of them are offered fully online. So if you have students who wants to study from their home country, just to get a US degree, please feel free to have them, to give them these programs that we offer. These are the business programs. accounting, business administration, finance, golf management, and sport management. So if you have students are interested into sports, we have these programs. Plus, they can do a minor in coaching. So we have that minor as well. Here's the education programs, engineering and computing, and you can see some of them, they have a concentration, whether cybersecurity, health informatics, concentration, web development, and game design as well. This is the health and science programs that we have as well. And here are the special tracks or special programs I talked to you earlier about, which is the pre-medical track. We have a pre-physical therapy track, and that's the DPT, direct entry, which is the doctorate physical therapy, the 3+3 that I talked to you about it, and also the pre-physician assistant professional track that leads to the master's that we have and the direct entry to it. So that's for the programs that we have. To go to our international page, you go to admission and aid, and then here you can see international admission. You click on it, it will take you to the welcome page. You can see down here, undergraduate, bachelor, graduate, master's informations. If you scroll all the way down here, you can see the list for undergraduate and graduate and the application for each. Here you can see the documents that are required as well. You can click on the undergraduate page. Please, all of your students, have them watch this video. It shows our campus. It gives a virtual campus tour. It's beautiful. It gives them an idea how does our campus look like. Undergraduate students can meet our international ambassadors from wherever they are, or if they're Nigeria or around Nigeria, they want to reach to students to get information about Trine, get ideas. How is it? We have different from different countries that they can reach out to them. So let me see. And I kind of went through the cost and everything. If we went to the graduate master's programs, here's the academic programs, and I can go through it from degrees. Here where you go for graduate master's program. And as I said, master's in business administration, business analytic, engineering management, information studies. These 4 or 5 programs that we have for our master's students, international students. So I can't think of anything else that it needs to be covered other than what I went in my presentation. I can go through the questions and answer maybe Nick now. That's all from me, from my presentation.
Yes, I would only ask you to share the presentation once again, because I think we're going to need it to show everything again if the question will, I would say, appear.
Yes, so leave it on here, students.
Okay, so let's go with the questions. You can also see them in the Q&A if you're going to click on them.
Okay, so please forgive me if I pronounce the names wrong. I'll try to, and I'm just gonna read the questions in that way. I'm not pronouncing anybody's name wrong. So for questions here, it says the turnaround period for the application. Okay, so once the student fill out the application, show you that. So once the application is filled out, students will need to submit the application. While they're filling it out, they would need to upload all the documents that are listed here. Whether they're undergraduate or graduate, they would have to upload all these documents before the application is completed. Once it's completed, now because of the high volume of applications that we have, it used to be we say you're gonna get an answer between 1 to 2 weeks, but now it's 4 to 6 weeks, because we have a huge number of applicants, whether for fall or spring. And as I said, we have a rolling admissions, which means students would defer. If they didn't get a spot in the fall semester, we defer them to spring or summer. So, and always we say the deadlines for application is a month before the program start dates. For example, fall starts in August 22nd. Then a month before that, that's when the application, then admissions, the deadline for admissions. I would say for students who are applying from their home country, especially if you know that the visa appointments are booked and you know there is no openings for them, I would say apply way earlier. Like I would say for now, apply for spring and get the admission, the I-20, and start doing a visa interview. Just because, like India, I know the visa slots, it's fully booked. Students are having hard time to get a visa appointment. So don't wait until the last minute or until a month before, because within a month you're not going to get a visa appointment. That's other than saying we need a month or more to do just the admission processing. So, but yeah, after the application submitted, all the documents are uploaded and completed, then give us 4 to 6 weeks for admission process. Once the students, after that, the students will hear back from us whether admitted or denied. If admitted, then it is on the students or the agent to, if they decide to come to Trine, then they have to pay the $500 admission fee. Once that paid, then we, within 7 to 10 days, we start issuing the I-20, which is the immigration record. Once it is emailed to the students or mailed, then students goes for a visa appointment, and hopefully they get their visa, and then after that we see them at Trine for that session.
All right, thank you. So let's move with another one, which is
without deposit, is it possible to apply? Of course, you can. Application, as I said, our application is online for free. There is no fees on it. The fee, the $500 deposit, is after the students get admitted. So students get the offer, the admission letter. If they decided to come to Trine, then it comes the next step, which is on the students to pay that deposit. After they pay that deposit, then we will issue the I-20, which is the immigration record. So as the application and admissions, there is no cost on it. But after that, the students decided to come to Trine, because you can apply to so many universities, you can get admitted to so many, but deciding on which one, then that's what tells us, okay, the students paid the admission deposit, they want to come to Trine, then they have to pay, then we issue their I-20, which is immigration record.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Then we can go with the next one, I think.
Okay, can you tell me about your undergraduate and postgraduate year gap acceptance? I don't understand the year gap. We don't have, I'm not sure what's the year gap means. But after the students, if they're, I'm just trying, I don't know, Nick, if you have an idea, what does it exactly mean?
Gap year, basically, for example, if it may be a saying that, for example, I was studying, I don't know, my bachelor, and I, for example, made a pause after the first year and can I, for example, continue, or for example, the difference of time between the studies. For example, I finished maybe my bachelor like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Can I apply?
Yes. Okay. So if that's understanding, okay. So not all of undergraduate or graduate students are just finished high school or just finished bachelor degrees. We have students who have, like, just an example for that, for graduate programs, we have students who finished their bachelor degree 15 years ago and applying for a master's degree, and that's completely fine. The same with high school. We have students who are kind of old enough to to apply late after they finish their high school, so that's completely fine. Whenever students decide to apply for undergraduate or graduate programs, they can apply. There isn't, maybe for the undergraduates, just I'm looking at it as a housing, because as I said, under the age of 21 they have to live on campus, but I guess if they're older than 21 they would be able to live off campus. But as I said, they can apply anytime as long as they have that high school transcripts, diploma, and the same with the bachelor degree. They have that bachelor degree transcripts and diploma as well, and then they can apply.
All right. And if, for example, I was studying my bachelor degree and then I passed after the first year and I want to continue, for example, in Trine, is it possible, or do I need to enroll myself from the beginning?
Good questions. I'm glad that you asked that. So I'm gonna call as if it's a transfer. If it's a transfer student, so you did you started a bachelor degree in your home country or even in the U.S. and you want to a year later you want to come to Trine. we will look at your, for example, you did a year or 2 years of a bachelor degree. We will look at that transcript and we do transfer evaluation for these credits, and then decide which of these credits will count towards your degree. I'm not going to say the whole full 1 year or 2 years, or even we have students who did a bachelor degree 3 years of bachelor degree. I'm not going to say the whole full 2 or 3 years that you did will count towards your bachelor degree, but we will do a transfer evaluation and we will let you know before even you come to Trine, or how many credits from your bachelor degree will be accepted and will go towards your Trine degree.
Okay, because no, I was working in the institution also, and I understand that you can have two separate institutions. You can have the same program, but you can have the different subjects. So basically, you won't have the same accreditation points. Okay, and for example, if in a case that you are saying to me, look, we did the evaluation, and for example, I don't know, I lack 2 subjects. What then? Should I pass? Should I pass some additional exams, or how the process looks like?
Well, you're talking about changing program at Trine, the same degree, like the same at Trine or other university?
For example, I want to transfer myself to Trine and continue my previous studies. And
Okay,
for example,
it's the same. It's going to be a transfer evaluation. We will see which courses will go towards your degree, and you have to know that even though some, as you said, some courses might not go directly to the same major as we call them core courses, which is towards, for example, if you did a business, it won't go, may not count towards your core business courses. However, we have electives. We can count them as electives. So the bachelor degrees, generally, they are 120 credits. So out of these 120 credits, I'm not an academic physician, but I'm just going to say generally, maybe we have 30 or more electives that from your bachelor, from your previous degree, these courses will transfer as elective, if not transfers as the core courses. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Yes. So let's go to the another one.
Can the agents get a waiver on application fees? Generally, I would say, I'm sorry, not. We haven't. Just because I think because we already a nice. Okay. Let's take that back. Application fee. There is no applications fee. Applications are for free. You can fill out for as many students as you have. So there is no application fee, and your students will get reviewed and get processed, and whether admitted or denied. If they're admitted, you will know that they're admitted, and from there you decide on whether they come to Trine or they get a better offer in another university. When you decide that they want to come to Trine, then they have to pay the admission fee. And that's answering also the next question of when students should pay the tuition. I'm sorry, that's another one. Sorry. I thought that's admissions. But as an admission deposit, it is not waived for agents. For the students, they have to pay it after they get admitted if they decided to come to Trine, because we do so much processing. From application to review to admissions, and then if they decided, you're talking about also immigration processing. So that to do that for all of students, we need a guarantee or kind of a decision from the students. Okay, I want to come to Trine. Then we issue their I-20. If we issued all I-20s for all students who are admitted, you're talking about a huge number, and to issue their immigration records before they even tell us, oh yeah, for sure, they want to come to Trine. So for tuition fees, we don't require the students to pay before visa, or even within admissions. I know some universities ask the students to pay, or even whether for a year fully or a semester. We don't ask the students for that. if the students got their visa, perfect. We see them at Trine. When they register for classes, then they get a bill for that semester. We bill them semester by semester. So it is after arrival when they come to Trine and register for classes, and also for academic semesters like fall and spring, which some people may have as winter. We have a payment plan. So students, but they have to pay it within that semester. So they would have a payment plan for fall semester, and they have to pay that fall fees or tuition fees during fall semester. After they pay it, then they will be able to register for the spring semester. And then during spring semester, they will get the spring bill, and they will have to pay it during spring semester. So it is after arrival. We are working with David and Shurjana. Yep, but it will take a long time to send an I-20. What are you doing to them? Okay, well, it doesn't take a long time to get an I-20. It takes a long time to admission process, and I know that. And that's what I said earlier. Admission process used to be a week to 2 weeks, but now it is 4 to 6 weeks, just because of the high volume of applications that we're receiving. So sending an I-20, no, actually, we have been really good at it. Once the students pay the deposit, then after they pay the deposit, then within 7 to 10 days, we email the students, since now CVIS approving and authorizing us to send to I-20s electronically. They accept it and it's approved. Then we have been sending it electronically. So I'm not sure if you're talking about long time sending an I-20. We have been really good. Once we receive the deposit, within, I would say, to be honest, even less than a week, we have been sending the I-20s. But if you're talking about admission deposit, I say yes, and I apologize for the delay. However, we are having a high volume of applicants. So now we say 4 to 6 weeks. If you're talking about an I-20, I would say reach out to our international team, inteladmit@trine.edu, provide them with your student name and their application number, and tell them, hey, I paid the deposit and I still haven't received the I-20. Check on that, just because maybe something else, maybe it has been sent, but it was sent, I don't know, the email that you provided on the student application, it could be a different one, and it was sent to it. So reach out for verifications so that we solve that if it's an I-20. But applications, please understand, it's 4 to 6 weeks, and we have a high volume, so I apologize. Yep. Still open for September. We are open, but as I said, if you're looking to apply for students from their home country, and I don't know where are you from, but if you're from India, there is openings for visa interviews. I would say we are open. If you have transfer students in the US, it's easy. They don't need to go for a visa appointment. So yes, but if you have students in their home country and your embassies are full, then I would say defer them to January, which is spring semester. But yeah, we're open. Yes, is the $500 refundable in case of visa refusal or visa rejection? Yes, we would need that proof. We would need the visa booking number, or that they get an email with that code. We need that code to verify through the immigration website that the students got a visa denial, and then we issue the $500 refund to refund it. Yep.
Okay, so we have a next question from Mr. Tony. Hi, Tony. Is it necessary for international students to live in campus until 21? As Sarah mentioned in the presentation, yes.
Well, live on campus, not work on campus. Is it live on campus?
Live, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, now I see that question. Yes, under the age of 21, they have to live on campus. Yes. I'm trying to see the tuitions here. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, we used to have an ESL program, but because of that time when they were denying ESL students to get the visa, so we have to cancel that program. So, however, we can refer you to some of the ESL institutions around that you can have your students apply to them, and come on their visa. We can give the conditional admissions for them if you're interested in that. We can help you with that, but we don't offer ESL program anymore at Trine. Yeah.
And let's go with the prices for Tony, because he also asked it. Can you please mention again the prices and the scholarships?
Okay, the tuition is here on the share. Do you see my PowerPoint? Yeah, so that's the tuition. You can see it here. For non-engineering, around 35, science around 35, engineering around 37, and scholarships are from 10,000 to 16,000, depending on the student GPA, or we do the equivalency of whether they are their percentage or out of 20, or depends on how is their GPA. I guess we do the equivalency to a US 4 GPA out of 4.
But can I ask, please, as I understand, so these are basically scholarships for the good grades, or is each of the scholarship
all with admissions? If a student is admitted, he is automatically reviewed for a scholarship. So if it's with admission, so if we admitted the students, that means he would automatically qualify for the scholarship. How much is the scholarship? It depends on their GPA. So as I said, the lowest is 10,000, the highest is 16.
So okay, because I thought that president scholarship, distinguished, deans, that those are different scholarships on different topics. Because, for example, in Poland, we have something what is called rector scholarship, and this is, for example, done basically only for good grades. We can have a dean scholarship, for example. This can be only, I would say, given to the student if they did a significant, I would say, researches in the area of the studies. Because I was a little bit confused with the names, and I thought, is this regarding the good marks in general, or are those like all different scholarships?
This is with admissions. So for undergraduate students only, graduate students, because for graduates, the tuition is already affordable and very competitive comparing to other US universities. So we're not applying any scholarship for graduate students. These scholarships that you're seeing now is only for undergraduate students, and it is with admission. So when you apply for an undergraduate students for any program for admissions, if the students got admitted, then automatically with the admission, they will be reviewed for a scholarship. Depending on their GPA or their high school grades, they will qualify for a scholarship, whether 10,000, 12, 13, 15, 16,000, depends on how much is their GPA or their high school grades.
All right, so let's move back to the Q&A. And we have the question for I-20, 500 deposit is refundable nor not in the case of visa refusal? And can you please specify the procedure in case of visa refusal? Because from my experience, I remember I was receiving emails that, oh, I got visa rejection, and that's it. No kind of confirmation, like what is the procedure after getting the visa rejection to get the refund?
And I answered that. We need the visa booking number, that code. When they book their visa, they get a code under a barcode. I remember the page, so I don't know how to explain it, but we would need that visa booking number. Because when they get the rejection, they get just a general letter. It says that you got rejected. We need that booking number to check that their visa appointments that it got rejected in the immigration website. So we check for rejection if the students is rejected or not, because some students pay with a $500 deposit and they get their our immigration record, and then they apply for another school, and the same thing, they get their I-20, their immigration record. But depending on which visa they get, then they tell us, oh, we got visa rejection and refund us. So we need that visa booking number to check if the students got rejected from the immigration website itself. We check it. So it is refundable only if they get a visa rejection. And what we need that visa booking number or code.
All right, clear enough. The next one for me is not clear enough.
Not getting admitted. Okay. Not getting admitted, I would say 99% if low grades. So that's mainly it. The students doesn't qualify for the programs that we offer. Sometimes we recommend, like for example, engineering programs are very particular on and firm about the GPA for admissions. So engineering, because it's hard in general, they need high grades. So if a student's applied for engineering and they don't qualify for it because their grades are low, then that could be a denial. Sometimes if students communicated they have another interest in another program with the admission counselor or with our international team, they can reach out and say, hey, I get denial for, let's say, chemical engineering. My second interest is, let's say, business. Then we do a reevaluation for their grades and see if their GPA would qualify them for the business program. Then we would review, and if their GPA would qualify for business, we give them admissions. If not, then not. Yeah. So that's mostly it. That's all I can think of. Oh, something else. Sorry. Fraudulent documents. We check them. You have to know that. So agents, please, if you are uploading documents for students and they're fraudulent, that's an automatic denial, and there is no re-review again, even if you got the original one again. So please don't, or tell the students, don't submit fraudulent documents. We check them directly from each website. I'm talking about generally English test scores. We have access to check every test scores through their website. So we would know if a student submitted a fraudulent document. And if we found one, it's an automatic denial, and it's a denial forever from the school, because we cannot accept students submitting fraudulent documents. Okay, so that's now I remember this one. Yep.
All right. And the next one, do you provide airport pickup services for the students?
Depending on which airport that they're coming from. So usually when students want airport pickup, we direct them to the nearest airport that we have, which is in Fort Wayne, which is 45 minutes to an hour from Trine. So we tell the students, okay, yes, if you're looking for a pickup, then depending on where they're flying to, whether to Chicago, like O'Hare Airport, or Detroit Airport, then we tell them to get another kind of flight. We try to, especially for Detroit, we might be able to do pickup, but generally from Fort Wayne Airport, yes, we do airport pickups. And if students communicate that with us, we try to, tell us earlier. Don't tell us on the day off, because we need the transportation to go and provide transportation to pick them up. But yes, we do.
Yes, and there is no pickup services from the Hawaii state. So be careful. There is no pickup services from the Hawaii state. So don't try to book the flight there. Okay, let's move to the another one. How much will be the initial deposit before the classes begin?
Well, the initial deposit, are you talking about the admission deposit, which is the $500? That's all what they pay before class starts. Let me take that back. That's the admission deposit before they enroll in classes or register for classes. As I said, once they come to the US and they attend orientation, where they register for classes, after they register for classes, they get that semester bill. And it will be due, I think, within a week or 2 weeks from that semester, if they're going to pay it fully for that semester, or they can enroll in a payment plan if it's an academic semester, which is fall or spring semester.
All right, thank you. The next one is, how many days it will take to refund the enrollment if the student gets refusal?
Good question, because it depends. Sometimes when we check, the immigration website, it depends on how fast they update it. Sometimes they don't update it like quickly after the students get denied. It takes time until we see it, the proof that the students get the visa denial. So that's one of the things that kind of hold us on doing the refund. But once the refund is processed, then we say, give us 30 days, like a month. Especially you're talking about international payments. So that takes time. Usually we were fast with it once we process the refund. But generally we say, give us 30 days, just in case, because students email us daily. I didn't get my refund. So give us please 30 days. And usually I guarantee you, once we process the refund, it's way less than 30 days. But I will say just leave it as 30 days.
And now a very short, I would like to ask you for a very short answer, yes or no. Is that $500 refundable in case of visa refusal from the embassy?
Is the same of yes.
Okay,
It's
now,
for visa refusal,
yeah,
yes.
now we're moving on.
Mhm.
Meaning no scholarships on masters.
No scholarships for graduate students. As I said, our graduate programs are very refundable. It's around $17,000 for the whole master's program. So if you looked in all other different master programs in different U.S. universities, the program itself is very affordable and very competitive comparing to other U.S. master's programs. So no scholarships. I'm sorry.
The next one is, do students have to provide ACT/CAT score to be considered for the scholarship?
Okay, so as I said, I'm trying to read it here. I know it's somewhere. Okay, here. ACT, SAT are recommended, not required, but they are recommended, whether for admissions or for scholarships. The same with GRE and GMAT. Just before I get that question, GRE and GMAT are not required, but recommended.
Okay, and then I would have a question for myself, because, for example, as in Ukraine, as in Poland, and in many other countries, we have kind of like national exams. In Poland, it's called Matura. In Ukraine, it was called ZNO, but due to the war right now, it's been cancelled, and they did something new, which is called the national multi-test. So basically, if a student is applying, are you looking at those also kind of documents? If they have, like, I would say, so basically this is kind of ACT, but which is taken in Poland, for example, would you be looking at them or not in the case of admission?
The extra documents, the better, especially if the students' records or grades are on the border or kind of below or something. So that gives us an extra, to review. So I would say if you have them, perfect, send them to us, but we're not going to base our admissions on it. You know?
But basically, as many documents you have that are connected with your education,
Yep.
the better it's going to be as a general, I would say, in the end. Okay.
Yes.
All right. The next question is, so for every UG student,
Correct.
they're going to receive at least 10K scholarship. Yes.
That's
from
if they're
10K
admitted.
till 16.
Yep. That's if they're admitted. Only admitted students, at least 10,000. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is, in Ethiopia, the US Embassy didn't issue a rejection letter, but the visa officer will tell you by oral. How are you planning to handle this situation?
Well, that's what I said. That's why we need that visa booking code or number. When a students book a visa appointment, they get a confirmation of their booking and they get a code or a number. That's what we use, and we check it in the immigration website, and they should update that student visa decision there. The only thing that sometimes it takes time until they update it. That's the only thing. But in Ethiopia, you said they say it orally. I know for other countries, most of the countries, they just give the students a general letter that doesn't have anything other than saying you got rejected. It could be because of a list of things why you might get rejected. We can't. This is a kind of a copy given to every student who got rejected, and we cannot give the visa refund. The admission refund based on it. That's why we need that visa booking number. So we are not looking into the decision or whether with a letter or orally. We need that booking number, and that's how we check it.
Okay, I would like to ask you, Sarah, please, can you go to the yes, this one.
So that's for engineering. That's the tuition is around $37,000.
And if you're gonna divide it by semester, so you're gonna get around $17,000, but you also need to take in consideration the possibility to get the scholarship. And then my next question is: the scholarship, for example, I got 10,000
yearly.
Yeah.
As long as you are at Trine, I cannot read your mind. Sorry.
And for example, and if I'm paying by semester, so does it mean the scholarship is, I would say, spread along the whole year equally to each month, or does it apply for the semester?
It will apply for the semester. So if you got qualified for the $10,000 scholarship, it will be divided because we have 2 academic semesters: fall, which starts in August, spring, which starts in January. So 10,000, it will be divided to 5,000 each, and it will be deducted automatically on your bill. It will show like your whole bill, and then your scholarship will be deducted there, and it will show you what's left that you have to pay. And then that payment, it would be a payment plan if you're enrolled in a payment plan, or some students, they just pay it fully at the beginning of the semester.
All right. And in terms, let me just ask the questions as we go on the prices. In terms of the housing deposit, is there any possibility, for example, that there will be no space for the students?
No. All students under the age of 21, they have to live on campus, and we provide housing for them.
All right. The next one is house insurance. What does it actually covers?
Everything. It's a really good insurance, way better than what we get. Yes, it's good. I don't know exactly how much does it cover, but I know it's a really good health insurance. I don't know if it's 80-20, something like that, but I don't know. It's good. It's really good. And we can get more information from my colleague who is responsible for the health insurance for students who wants to ask.
Yep. All right. And about the housing and the meal plan. So basically, this
is the highest, by the way. This is the highest kind of a housing and meal plan. There is a little bit less, which is around 10,000 though. So,
but it covers like breakfast, lunch.
And that's what I'm saying. There is a less. So the meal plan here, I can't remember. There is a 50 meals. I don't know if it's a semester. I don't know exactly the details about it. But if anybody are interested and wanting to know more, I know it's on our website, but it will take me some time to kind of navigate it. But if anybody wants details about it, I can send them the links directly to it.
And what is the student fee?
It is the same. I would need to navigate exactly what is it. It goes I think using some services. Yeah, I think it's on our website. Let me see.
Okay. Then we have, would you please send me the presentation material by email or by WhatsApp?
I don't know. Do you do that, Nick? Like, do
you? We basically do not share the presentations as they are in terms of the files, but we share the whole recording on which you will have the presentation. Plus, Sarah was very fast during her presentation, so the part where you're going to see the presentation itself is going to be very short. And yes, it will be sent to you as the part of the 1 month summary in the end of the month.
And okay. For all, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you want to take next steps, we can meet. Book a timing. We can meet through Zoom and discuss more details and go further if you're looking into that. Just speaking of the fees, student fees, parking, and annual estimate, it says it here. It's a student fee, includes health and wellness, because we have a center here, a health and wellness center, and other services students during academic year that they're using. Like we have 24 hours computer lab and free touring centers. I can't think of other. Yeah.
And you were mentioning about something in the beginning, like Rinkara School of Health Sciences. This is basically the separate institution that you work with, or is it the part of the Trine?
It is the schools. It is the schools itself. So I'm just gonna go back to academics majors. So the Bachelor Degrees. So Jenin was a school, the arts and science schools, and health and science is that school. So for each school, the Kennard School of Business, what did I say? Here we go. I know they have it as in schools here. So Allen School of Engineering and Computing, Jenin School, which is each program. Recon School, Health and Science, it would list all the programs, bachelor degree, biochemistry, biology. Yeah. So it is the schools that we have. It's just different departments, separate departments.
So you also have like pre-physician assistant studies, physical therapy.
Yep, that's the special programs that we have. And then that's what I talked about, pre-medical, because I know some students are interested into medical track or medical, to go to medical school. We're not medical school, but we provide the pre-medical track, which prepare the students to go after they finish their bachelor degree to apply for a medical school. And it is just cheaper.
Okay, can you show the scholarship table once again,
Yes.
please?
I'll leave that until here.
All right. And while agents are looking at the scholarships, have you? Okay, do you have any commission for the agent as a
We
student
do.
recruiter? If has, then okay. What is the
Like, how
commission
much is it?
percentage? Yes,
Yes, we have.
and let's go with the full procedure, how it's paid, like after the admission, etc.
Well, okay. So first of all, we would need to sign an agreement to qualify for that. Whether through Net24 or you can reach out to me personally. In that way, we can set a meeting with the agency and check how can we work together and things like that. And then if we decided into yes, perfect, we can sign an agreement. After my meeting, I discuss with our VP. About every agent, and then he sends an electronic agreement. After that agreement is signed, then agent starts to kind of recruit students, and after the students are here, it is not how many students you apply for, it's how many students are at Trine are studying. So for the undergraduate, it's the commission is 12%. A year so it would be around 4,400 for engineering and 4,000 for non-engineering students. The masters are 20%, and the online students, which you're talking about, students who are fully studying online from their home country or wherever they are, but not at Trine, it's 15% commission. So undergraduate is 12% commission, masters 20, and online is 15.
And let me ask a question. Is the commission, I mean, this percentage, 12, 20, 15, taken from the actual price what students have paid, for example, while they're having a scholarship, or is that commission taken from the general price of 1 year tuition fee?
Well, it's not taken from the students. It's a commission that we pay the agent.
What I mean, for example, let's say we have 2 students and one student has tuition fee $37,000 per 1 year, and another one got the scholarship and now he's paying $27,000.
No, it's from the tuition itself. It doesn't matter the scholarship. Yes. So as I said, the 12 for the undergraduates, 12%. That it's going to be around 4,400 for engineering students because it's higher tuition, and 4,000 for non-engineering students.
And is it paid? Yes, sorry for interrupting. And is it paid after student finishes the year or the semester, or is it paid upfront?
It is not paid upfront because students can drop, after the first semester, after the first week, and transfer out. It's not, I think, don't quote me on that. It is more detailed in the agreement, and it's not me who's sending the agreement, so I haven't seen it for a while. But I think it's after the first semester. I think so, but don't quote me. As I said, but if we met in person, if we did a meeting, me and the agent, I can clarify that more and get more information about it. But it's definitely not paid in front. I think most likely it's after the first semester.
And can you please tell me about, I would say, the possibility to work during associate degree, bachelor, and graduate?
Which is the CPT, curricular practical training that I talked about during my presentation. So, for associate degrees, associate degrees might be able, but for bachelor degrees, it's a little bit harder for undergraduate students to work while they're studies, just because their classes are daily during the week. So they don't have time to go and work unless they found a kind of part-time job. It has to be related towards their major. So students doing a bachelor degree in business cannot work in McDonald's or cannot work in anywhere else that is not related to their major. It needs to be related to their major, and we need to approve it. So they would do the visa. They would do the job offer, the job interview, get the job offer letter with the job description, submit it. If they're undergraduate, they need their academic advisor approval that they can work and do this job while they're studying. Once we the immigration officers, we are a DSOs. Once we receive that approval from their academic advisor, then we review it for a CPT, curricular practical training, and we have to put it on their immigration record. That's for undergraduate. For master's students, they can, because as I said, they're flexible. That our classes are on a weekend, so they can work during the week. They're, have that time, and they live anywhere, anywhere in the U.S. So it's more flexibility to find jobs related to their majors. So they do the job interview and get that job offer letter with the job description. They submit it to us directly. There is a form, CBT form, that they have to fill, upload their job description and job letter, offer letter, and then we review it. If it's related to their major, then we approve them. There is a time limits of how long they can do CBT, curricular practical training, which is students that they're doing their, for example, master's degree for the first time. They still didn't use an OPT under the master level before. They have to do CBT, they cannot exceed a year. So it needs to be less than a year. If they exceeded a year, did more than even if it was a year or more, let's say that if they did it exactly a year, they disqualify automatically for OPT, which we need them for OPT way better than CPT, because OPT they can work. They don't have school to do. They can work for 1 year, and then they can, if they are in a STEM program, they can extend it for another 2 years. So you're talking about 3 years. That's way better than doing a year of CBT during their studies. Generally, we say they are responsible for their school and their academic progress. If they are failing or their grades is dropping, they're automatically going to be, their CBT will be denied or will be canceled automatically if their grades are going down. So because they're here under F1 student visa, so that's their biggest responsibility, is to maintain that student visa, which they came as a student, and they have to maintain a good grades, which is 3.0 GPA every semester to maintain that. So that
is why you're opening studying visa, not working visa.
Exactly.
This is like the biggest
difference. And that's why their CPT and OPT is related to their major, because we want them to get that experience in their field of study, to later on qualify and get both the study and the experience you're talking about. It's almost like an internship.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the English requirements, English language requirements, as I saw that you are allowing students to apply with Duolingo test.
Yes.
And the next question there was that you may, I would say, allow the admission from the student without any kind of certificate, but it will depend on their background.
To be waived? To waive the English requirements? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It was in the presentation that it depends on the background.
So this is one of the examples. So, and it is also listed here down there, English test exemptions qualifications. So you have to complete 1 year of study at university or college in a country where English is official language. We do not accept the medium of English studies. We get students that say, I did my bachelor, and they get a letter that they did their, for example, they are not in an English spoken language, official language. And for example, it's Arabic, let's say that, but their school, and it is in an kind of an Arabic university or something like that, but they say they studied in English. We do not accept that. It needs to be an English, their English is official language. If they are studying in the US and they completed some language levels of courses, or at least 12 credits, then we would waive that. Also, these are the countries that we waive English for.
And there is no mention in the first sentence about the high school. So, for example, if the child is applying for the bachelor degree after the high school, and the whole high school, let's say, for example, Zambia or Zimbabwe or Uganda, as they have English language as official, as the government language, after such high school, like, or as it's called, the higher secondary education, which they have, with which they apply for the bachelor, will you also allow them not to have the English certificate?
Well,
Or
they're automatically going to be waived because they are, for example, as you said, Zimbabwe. That's a basic.
if you will go up, please.
Oh, am I?
Sorry, because it's the different requirement. Because I thought that you have completed one academic year of study at the university or college. Okay, so yeah, basically, if the agency is from Zimbabwe, Zambia, or a lot of African countries where you have English as the official language, you don't need to submit the certificate. Because, for example, in European institutions, a lot of them, they still require, due to the fact that the country is bilingual. That it doesn't mean that if the country has 10 languages, it doesn't mean that everybody speaks all of them.
Okay.
So that is why in Europe it's mostly common to, I would say, to have an issue, to ask an English language person to go for the IELTS. And I had friends in the US who went to the IELTS certification and TOEFL, and the questions that are being asked are so strange that the friend of mine got 5.0 from IELTS, because he said, I was literally in shock because the questions were, so, strange, as I can say it in a polite way. He said that I was just sitting and I was just saying all the time, and the guy told me that it's very hard for me to, to share my opinion, and that probably I have a very poor vocabulary because it's taken me a long time to think about something. And he said, I'm Native American. Then the instructor was like,
yes.
Yeah.
No, we directly, like, automatically waive the English requirements. The only thing I would just recommend the agents or to tell the students, or if they're applying for them, like for the students, on the English test scores requirement field, because they have to upload something. It's whether they email our international team, INTL admit at Trine.edu. It's whether they email them, or they that they are from this country and it should be waived, or they they upload their diploma, or a letter saying I'm from here, just because the field will still say it's missing, and it will show our admission counselors that this student's application is missing. And as I said, because of the high volume, we're trying to check every missing application. However, if it's and I don't know if we're going to reach to that student or not, but that's why I'm saying, if your students from this country, or their English should be waived, then have something to uploaded in that field of English test requirements. In that way, we have a complete application for the students to start the review. But if you're not sure, please don't upload anything, and reach out to our international team first for clarifications. Because if you uploaded something as if it's completed, and then we as I said, we take 4 to 6 weeks to review. And if we reach to your students and we saw that he's not supposed to be waived, and then we take it out and say again he's missing, then you are in the queue again for 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, please.
Okay, and another question is that, because you mentioned that graduates from Trine that generally your institution has a huge, in terms of the percentage, employment rate at 99%. During the studies, does the students have an opportunity to get any kind of internship from the companies? Maybe like local or etc. Or maybe do you have, like in European institution, what is called the career office, that basically helps the students to create the CV, explaining how to apply for the job, what to do and what not to?
Yes, we do. We do have a career center, and the career center is the one that do all of the career fairs, and that's, here we go. And big companies attend this career fair. We do this career fair We do a biggest one once a year, and then a kind of a little bit, I would say not small one, but a decent employers attending it in the middle of the year as well. So we do 2 career fairs on campus, and we invite big companies, and we invite all students from undergraduates and graduates to attend this fair. And we, during the whole year, we host events on how to dress well for an interview, how to prepare your resume. How we do a mock interview where we pretend that we are the employer, and what kind of questions that the students might get during the job interview. So we prepare the students for everything before that if they're interested in coming. So yeah, we host and everything, and if students are interested, they come and we help them for that. Yeah.
Didn't you find yourself in a situation that you did this kind of test interview and student ended up in the dean's office working?
Some of our students are working for our campus. Yes.
So the test interview went great.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's funny because we do also, especially for undergraduate students, we do have a fair to work on campus. So and it is kind of limited hours, and I don't tell that to all students like when I do presentations, because as I said, undergraduate students, it's hard to find jobs, but like on campus we do internal job fairs, I guess. Here we go.
And if the student gets a job at the campus, what kind of benefits except the salary they can get?
I'm not really good at this, but I think it's just a salary.
Okay, so the only benefit will be the salary. Okay.
As I know of, yes.
Okay, quite good enough. Yeah. So the next one, basically speaking, because I'm just interested in the process itself. So for example, I am a student, we did the fairs, companies came like JP Morgan, Google, Parker, Enki, etc. And as a student, can I communicate with them? Can I speak, or maybe will they be interested to hire me after the graduation or etc.?
Well, and that's how is it. Like when we do the job fair, the students themselves, they go and each company have a table. They go to them, they talk, they just have that general talk, and whatever the employer wants to ask the students during it's just a walkthrough. Like every company, as I said, have a table, and students have multiple copies of their resume, and before even that, the students gets a list of what companies and what they're looking for, and that way they know where to go to if they're interested into certain stuff. Otherwise, they can walk by all tables, see what do they have, hand their resume, and then from there, it depends on the employer. It's whether, and most likely, that's how is that the employer takes the resume, and then if they clicked with the students immediately, then they immediately tell them, and we got this. Hey, yes, we would reach out to you. Wait for a call or email from us. And some of them, they just give them their resume, and then they get an email, hey, saying like we're coming to campus for interviews on this date, and that's our availability of timing. Like when is your good time for you to do the interview? And that's how it's.
And do you have a lot of cases that, for example, students attended the fairs, and after graduating, they actually went to work with the companies that were at the fairs?
Yes, we did. And especially for undergraduate students, by the way, for that one, undergraduate students do a lot of summer jobs because, as I said, during their academic year, it is very hard. So they do. Okay, there's 2 things. They do a summer job and they do co-op. Co-op means that they can take a semester even off from school and continue working. Some students take a whole year to do co-op with a company. And then once they're working for them for 1 year, they're done. They come back to Trine to finish their school. After they graduate, they have a position waiting for them with that company to go to.
So this is basically, I would say, like a reservation for the position after you're going to graduate.
Yes. We have, especially for undergraduates, I would say, yes, we have a lot of students that did a summer job or did a co-op, whether for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, with some companies, and the company itself told them, hey, after graduation, apply to us, and they apply for OPT and they go work for them. Yep. And also some of the students, some of the companies, because the students worked for long for them so far, they would apply for them for H-1B, which is a work visa.
All right, that's great. The next thing, you stated that you had for the spring 2022 5,700 plus students. In case, for example, when the new students are coming, do you have any kind of integration for the new coming students in the beginning of the year, etc.?
We do orientation. Orientation is something, it is mandatory for all students, graduates or undergraduates. Undergraduates, because their classes are gonna be on main campus, so they have to do the orientation physical on campus. They have to attend and come. For graduates, because as I said, they live everywhere, and they can be anywhere within their home country, or transfer students in the US. For now, and because of COVID, and we continued with it, our orientation is virtual for graduate students, but it is mandatory for all students to attend it, because it tells the students, first of all, we register the students for classes during orientation. We set up their account from their email to log into their portals or student portals, so all, like, show them all how to take their classes, how they pay their bills, navigate all the resources that we have on campus. We prepare them for their studies during orientation. We tell them about all the rules, because they're international students. They're not as domestics or US residents. So there are some rules that they have to look into and keep in mind. And there are students, whether they're undergraduates or graduates, they don't know about all these rules. So we go over all of the different details that they would need to know before they start their classes. So for undergraduates, we even take them to meet their academic advisors, to do a tour around campus, to show them where is our offices as an international advisors and immigration officers. In that way, they know how to go and come. Also, for our undergraduate students, we take them also on kind of a tour during, like, around the community, like marketplaces, restaurants, theaters, things like that. We do this stuff at the beginning, and that way they know where's these places to go to, other than what other events we make or do during their school year.
Look, we have another question in the Q&A.
I saw that. So as I said, for the English, it is case by case. So I don't know your two students who applied, if it got waived for certain reasons. I'm not sure, but it is to waive the English requirements. That's the general rule. But also we have a case by case, review, I guess. So yeah. Yep.
And in case, for example, of if I graduated from the bachelor, I would say, what would be more easier for me to apply for the master?
Let me take that. If you graduated from US, if you did a bachelor in the US?
No, in Trine.
Oh, in Trine. Generally, we tell the students to do OPT. We don't want students to miss that opportunity, because, as I said, you did a bachelor degree, you can apply for OPT, optional practical training. They work in the US for 1 year. If they are in a STEM program, extend it for another 2 years. You're talking about 4 years bachelor degree. If there are STEM programs, another 3 years of work experience. That's a huge plus for the students to do. Some cases, we did, like, some students, they don't want to do, like, they want the degree more than the work experience. They do apply for a master's immediately after. Also, we have a lot of students now, they're doing what I went through earlier, which is they do their master's during their senior year of their bachelor degree. And that way they graduate with a bachelor degree plus a master degree. They might need to add a semester after their bachelor degree just to finish up their master courses. Sometimes they just finish it all within their bachelor degrees program. So it depends, however, what's the student's choices. But if what we recommend to students, if they did a bachelor degree in the US in general, whether at Trine or not, to use their OPT, because that's a work experience and it's very beneficial for the students. And also the same when they do a master's, we always recommend the students to do OPT after their master's, because we have some students who would do their master's, go back home to their country, and we always recommend, well, we're happy that you finished your master's degree, but why not get work experience as well in the US? And that way you have higher chances when you go back to your home country. It's not only that you have a US degree, plus you have the US experience.
Especially right now when a lot of jobs require you at least some work experience. And the thing that I'm seeing right now on especially job market is that you can be a graduate of any kind of institution, but a lot of employers want to have an employee who will have at least some amount of practical experience. When I came to my first job, and I understood that education is good, but experience combined with education is much more better.
Yes, and we see that a lot around the world. Work experience is essential and needed and wanted to find, I would say, better jobs or higher jobs. Yep.
And we have the next question.
Okay, that's talking about H-1B, which is the visa, work visa. And that's why I said it's the H-1B, it's not something that we do. However, the employer, especially if the students worked for that employer for long, they did, for example, OPT, and they did a 1 year of OPT. And if they extended it to another 2 years, perfect. You're talking about a year or plus working for this employer. And then it's whether they apply for the students for H-1B, or usually it's whether the students leave the country or go for another degree to maintain their status to stay in the US as a student. Or usually we have a lot of students that are their employers are applying for them for H-1B. And once they get that H-1B, I think they have to stay under that H-1B visa, I think for 5 years, and then they can apply for the green card, which is the residency.
But for example, if a student was recruited during the studies and companies like seeing that, okay, this is a very good employee, the company will basically assist in some way, if it's possible, of course.
While he's a student,
no. I mean, like that you mentioned that they can take a vacation from the studies, go to work, then graduate, and then go back to the company that they have the reservation at.
Yep, and then the company, after they go back after graduation, work for them, that company would apply for them for H-1B. Yep.
Yeah, because the friend of mine, he basically speaks 5 languages, and he got the job opportunity at, as I remember, I may make a mistake. He went for it was probably HBO or Netflix, and because that he has 6 years of experience, they help him to get the working visa, basically speaking, after his graduation. So they basically helped him. And if we're gonna speak about, I would say, the percentage of drop of students, is it high or it basically depends, I don't know, maybe on the admission season or etc. Because, for example, in Poland, as I'm seeing, after the COVID, right now, it went a little bit up, especially for those kids who are applying after they finish their schools completely online. It's a little bit going up. I wouldn't say much, but you can see it.
Yeah. For us, during COVID and after COVID, our enrollment moved up. It went all the way up. I guess, I'm not sure what did we do, but I guess actually our enrollment, during COVID did not get affected by going low or anything. It went high. We have a lot of students during COVID. We didn't get students from their home countries. However, we got so many students transfer from the US. And I don't know if that triggered with COVID, it triggered something. But I mean, if you looked our selling points, let's say that, what's your selling points? For undergraduates, we have a small class size. We have different programs, scholarships. There isn't many U.S. Universities that offer international students scholarships, especially for undergraduates. For graduate students, the flexibility, the attending classes during the weekend, they can the different campuses that they attend to on the same small class size. So I think that attracted more students. But I mean, our enrollment, it didn't get low. And when you say dropped, I would say I don't know what's the percentage of dropping students, new students after they come. There isn't many of dropping, I would say, after they enroll, other than if they are dismissed for certain reasons. Whether they didn't attend their CETA class, which is a requirement to maintain their F1 student visa, or they did not maintain their 3.0 GPA, something like that. I cannot think of the percentage of dropping students after they enroll at Trine.
Mm-hmm. And in terms, because you mentioned that you have a very, I would say, compact classes, how many actually students you have in one class, depending on the program, of course, on average?
Well, for undergraduates, our max in class, I would, let me see. I know it is 25 for undergraduate. For graduates, it is 40 to 50. Yeah.
It's not a lot. So it would be very useful at the studying process to have such small classes.
Yeah, they get, and me and my sisters went to Trine, and we just love that personal attention. We get all the focus. If we have any questions, the professors are there. Not only just professors, all the staffs, faculty, everyone would help the students. We have, for undergraduate students, we have a week care system, which is if a student didn't attend classes for 3 days in a row, did not submit their homeworks for 3 days in a row or 3 classes in a row, the professor for that class flagged the student, where our student services center or department, they reach out to the students to kind of sit with them and what's going on. How can we fix this? How can we help you? Whether we get them into tutorings, whether we get them into do a time management, schedule or a plan on how, to study. We sit with them. Sometimes as even the students didn't answer their emails or phone calls, sometimes we would go in person to check on them. Hey, what's going on? We haven't heard back from you. What's going, things like that. So we have that personal attention of making sure the students is doing good, and in all different aspects. If a student is not attending events or things like that, it could be that the students themselves are not kind of social students and things like that. But also at the same time, we try to encourage them. Hey, let's do this. There's this event. Or sometimes we personally take them. And a lot of my colleagues, they do a lot of lunch and dinners during the weekends at home, at our houses. And a lot of international students love it and they go to it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. And I think we can sum everything up already. I don't have any questions left from my side. Also hope from the agencies too, because we answered all of them. And again, Sarah, thank you very much, first of all, for your time. The next thing that I want to say thank you for a great presentation and for the overall experience, which was very great. I don't know, personally for me, everything was crystal clear, so I don't have any kind of questions. Contact details of yours were already shared, and you also had them on the presentation. So dear attendees, if you will have any kind of questions, you see the emails underlined, send an email, and you will get all the information you're gonna need. We basically covered everything, and yes, thank you again very much for your time.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to Net24 for always inviting us. We love being part of your conferences and your webinars. And thank you to everybody who attended. I really appreciate it. So please, if you had any further questions or you want to, take the next steps, feel free to reach out to me through email, WhatsApp, WeChat, or through Net24. And thank you. And so I don't know what's the timing, and I hope the timing is good for all.
Of course, it's good. And it's a pleasure to host you. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Good night.